Hello. Welcome to Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson. Happy 2019. Definitely, if you want to know a little bit about Jennifer Johnson, that's me, you can check out my website at www.totherescuein.com. I'm a business relationship coach, and I just help people kind of work on better relationships with their clients and keep their name in front of their clients and just do follow-up and that kind of stuff. I love being here because Logan Street Signs and Banners is one of our favorite sponsors, and they are also Noblesville Trophies. If you've never stepped in their shops here down on, not on Logan Street, conveniently not located on Logan Street, down here on Connor Street. On 10th Street. Oh, that's right. Okay. Anyway, I know I got here this morning.
I did too.
It worked. Yes, we are working on stuff today. But thank you, Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophy, for being great sponsors of what we do. I can't believe we're almost into March. Can't believe it. I am so excited today to have Bernice Pascosolido.
Excellent.
It's a beautiful last name,
Thank
actually.
you.
And you said earlier, you are Italian.
I am Italian. I am.
We're glad you're here. Bernice is actually, it's a really fun thing for me to, I can't believe I had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, would you do this? I said, sure, but I didn't tell her that. I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got a lot of great information.
Good.
I know what it is, basically, but Bernice is going to share with us. Now, Bernice is an American sociologist. She's currently a distinguished professor of sociology and a director of the Indiana Consortium for Mental Health Services Research at Indiana University. And you're also a published author?
I am.
You probably sit here and just laugh at everything I say.
No, I'm delighted that you're willing to talk to us, because what we're doing is important, but without the people, we're not going to be able to do it.
So this is a great way to let them know.
Absolutely.
County television. Well, great. Now, your book, what's it called?
Well, it's more that I have over 100 articles than a book.
Oh.
So I'm a scientist more in the tradition of publishing articles than publishing books.
I'll have to start.
I have a couple of books, but they're more like edited books. So.
You know what's really exciting? I mean, I've had guests on my show, but I don't think anybody's ever been on Wikipedia. That's a big deal. Well, to me, it's a big deal.
Apparently, I'd like my site to be a little better, but I don't have time to play around with it. But apparently they do vet it, and so they will take things down I guess it's an honor. No, not if it's not true. They have some kind of, they decide whether or not you're worthy to be there, which I think is a little funny.
Yes, that is pretty funny.
I'm happy to be there because I think the work that we do as social scientists is really important. Because a lot of the problems that we face in the United States today really are social problems. They may have medical components, they may have chemical components, may have financial components, but a lot of it has to do with us as human beings.
Well, so I'm just going to turn it over to Bernice, but she is going to tell us about the person-to-person health interview study that's going on and how it came to be, where it comes from. And because people here in Hamilton County could be getting connected or contacted, and they may not know what it's about. So this is, hopefully we'll get it out to enough people that they can then share it, and those people that are getting contacted. Yes. Take it away, Bernice. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity because Indiana University President McRobbie decided a number of years ago that Indiana University really needed to attend to the most important problems of the state, of the nation, and of the globe. And so he asked the faculty to work together across disciplines, and the Bloomington campus and the Indianapolis campus and the medical school, all of us to work together and come up with what we thought are the most important problems to attack here in Indiana. And I think that most of us know that one of the biggest things that we have to face is our own health.
Right.
Because again, it might be, a silly saying, but if you don't have your health, you really don't have anything. And we also know that Indiana, unfortunately, doesn't rank very well in terms of the health of its people. So the medical school, not surprisingly, decided that they wanted to participate and that they wanted to really dig in deep with the problems that face us in the United States, and particularly in the state of Indiana. And so they came up with this notion, the Precision Health Initiative. Okay. And what that means is that instead of going to a doctor, you have a particular problem, the doctor gives you the same medication, the same time, in the same way as everybody else who has that problem. The idea of precision medicine or precision health is really to focus on you as a person and to tailor what you get in the doctor's office, in the hospital, in the clinic, to who you are as a person, where you live, what your needs are. Well, a lot of that focuses on the new genetics. Now, I'm not a geneticist and I'm not here to talk about genetics.
Right.
But here's the curious thing that we learned. When we did the Human Genome Project, we really thought we were going to open the book of life. And in many ways, we have learned a tremendous amount about how genetics affects us. But the curious thing that nobody expected was to find out that your genetic inheritance can be turned on or turned off by the living situation that you have.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so you have a genetic inheritance. Some of it, so for about 10% of diseases, like hemophilia, if you have the gene for hemophilia, you're going to get it. But as we opened up the book of life, it turned out that about 90% of diseases that we suffer from cannot be understood in that very simple way. And so we have to understand, or the next sort of phase of science is to understand how the body reacts with the social environment. And so a lot of universities are looking at this idea of precision health or precision medicine. There are a couple of things that are unique about what Indiana University is doing. And the first thing is that unlike other universities, President McRobbie said, we're going to deal with these problems and I'm going to put our money behind it.
Right.
And so he asked the faculty to come up with these proposals. I think the first round there were like 26, 30 proposals, and precision health came out as the most important one according to the scientific review.
Okay.
Now my part of that is really a small part of it, which is that we now understand that everything from your genes to your psychological makeup to your environment, to your friends, to your community, to where you live in the physical environment, all of those things come together to affect whether or not you stay healthy, whether or not you get sick, whether or not you get treatment, whether or not you get good treatment,
Sure.
and whether or not you live or die. And so it's not a surprise that many universities have projects that have this sort of multi-layer idea about how to help the health of the population. What's unique about what we're doing here in Indiana is not only that President McRobbie sort of said, I'm putting up the money to do this, but we have a unique layer that no other university is doing, which is going out to the people. Right? Because if you're going to try to affect the health of the population, you should have the voice of the people in that. It shouldn't just be the experts telling people what to do or saying this is what your problem is. So the precision, in the Precision Health Initiative, the person-to-person health interview study is the part of this project that goes out to the people in the state of Indiana who are scientifically selected. Actually, their households are scientifically selected, between 2,000 and 3,000 households have been scientifically selected to represent the state.
Okay.
If the people in those 2,000 to 3,000 households participate in this interview, we will be able to describe the entire state, right? So the scientific sample produces a generalized voice of the people of Indiana. So if you get the invitation, and it's a sort of a funny red thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of it's supposed to attract your interest.
Sure.
If you get that in the mail, it tells you all about the study and what the study is going to look like. And then somebody will come to your door once we go into that area. Now, as you said, we have now come into the Hamilton County area. So we're trying to do it part of the state by part of the state. They will come to your door, and they will then use another scientific algorithm to decide who in your household we'd like to talk to, right? So we're not going after particular people. Like, we don't know who you are exactly. We know that you are a good representative of the state of Indiana. And then we can do the interview there. If you don't want anybody to come to your house, call the number in the invitation and tell us that you'd be happy to do the study, which we really hope you will. And then tell us where you'd like us to meet you, maybe the public library, some other place that you would feel comfortable doing it, or arrange a time that is convenient for you in your home. And then we will come and do the interview. Now, the interview is a set of questions about the conditions of your life. We ask you about your health, but the important thing is we start off by asking you to tell us what you think the problems are that you're facing and what you think should be done about them. Then we go into a whole set of questions that we know will help us unpack that. And so we will ask for everything from some of your experiences of childhood, whether you have any problems, health problems now. We'll ask about your friends. We'll ask you about your conditions, your work, whether or not you go to church. A lot of things that tell us about who you are and what makes you special. So we'll do that, and then we will also ask you to spit in a.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, that is not for our part of the study, but as I said before, what we're finding out now at the edge of science is that your genes interact with your living conditions. And so in order to get the genes, you spit in this, you give us some saliva, and the people at the medical school put it into their biobank, which is protected. Everything is protected in terms of confidentiality and privacy, and is only used by scientists at Indiana University. And so they then find out things about your genes that are important. We bring them information to them about your living conditions, and we try to unpack what keeps people healthy and what makes them sick. And we do that, as I said, from everything from, who you are, what you think, where you work, to the quality of the community that you live in, to, the part of the state, the kinds of air quality that you might have, all kinds of things that we can put together to get a complete picture of each individual in this sample.
Interesting.
It's very exciting scientifically, because we've just found out that it's just not simple. We've sort of, as we often say in science, we've already hit the low-hanging fruit, right? We know those 10% of diseases that are, simply genetic. But other diseases, say if we take something very serious like schizophrenia, turns out that there may be 100 to 1,000 genes involved. So it's those genes combined with things that might happen to you in your life that might cause you to be mentally healthy or cause you to have a mental health problem at some point in your life. And we're interested very broadly in issues of your mental health, but of your physical health as well. And it really wouldn't be a very responsible study at this point in the state of Indiana if we didn't deal with the opioid addiction.
Right.
Now, all information is confidential. Once we finish your interview, we are interested in you as a number, and while that sounds impersonal, it's the way we protect your information. And all of this has gone through human subjects at Indiana University, and has been seen to be ethical. And that's important because sometimes people worry about participating in scientific studies because they are afraid that their data will be released. I think science is the least place where you have to worry about that. And we have really taken extra steps to make sure that everything's protected.
Wow. I know we've got the website up on the screen. If somebody wants to know more about this, there's the home, or the page, what is that called, homepage?
Yeah, the homepage.
The homepage, yeah, it didn't sound right to me. But that is what they would be seeing if they logged on. What kind of things, why? Because you're picking and it's scientifically.
Yes.
Why would somebody? How can they participate? Or what can they get involved in? Or just to learn more? Maybe I guess really is what the website is there
If you go to the home page, you'll see it says there are 3 grand challenges that Indiana University is taking on at this point. One is, the first one that was selected was the Precision Health Initiative. And again, that's not a surprise given how important our health is in the quality of our life. The second is about environmental change and how the weather and the climate in Indiana is going to affect our lives. And since we're an agricultural state, this is very important. And then the third one is one that didn't come from the faculty, but came from the governor and a committee, including President McRobbie and other people, that said we've got to take on a grand challenge of the addiction crisis. Now, to the extent that addiction is part of health, we are helping them gather information on not only are people having problems with addiction, but how is it affecting their family, how is it affecting their community. So you don't have to have that problem yourself to provide important information about how the opioid crisis could be attacked in Indiana.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
There's another way they can get involved, though, Jennifer, which is that
yes,
we're also interested in hiring people as interviewers. And so, you know, I think it's a good idea. We don't have people necessarily in their own community because I don't know, I don't think I'd want to be interviewed by my neighbor, but in neighboring communities, and you can, if you have a particular preference for a type of interviewer, just tell us. You know, that you want to be interviewed by a man, you prefer not to be interviewed by a man, you know, you'd like an older person, a younger person. We try to match all those things, but that means that at any time, we probably have about 24 interviewers in a community. And so if you're interested in that, get onto the website, go to the person-to-person health interview study, and call us. Because I think we just finished a training session so that we could move. We started in Indianapolis, now we're here out in Hamilton County, but we will be hitting every geographical part of the state. Now that doesn't mean that we'll hit every neighborhood or every city or every rural area. Because that would be very expensive. And so this scientific sampling allows us to have groups of places in the state where we interview. And so if you're looking for a job and this is something that you'd like to do, you give us a call.
It's very interesting. I guess I was thinking as you were saying it, and I don't know if there's probably not an answer really. How long does the interview take?
No, there is an answer.
Okay, well, I was thinking as you were saying that the answer one way that might lead to some other questions.
Well,
so it's kind of. But go ahead.
I mean, it's a 2-hour interview.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but we believe in the value of people's time,
right.
And so there is compensation for participating in this.
Well, there you go.
Right, and it depends on. I mean, it can go anywhere from $75 to $125, depending upon you know, which parts of the interview you do. Because if, for example, you don't want your spit in the Indiana Biobank, then you know there's an extra incentive for doing that. And if it happens that you get the opioid add-on, there's an incentive for that. So we do believe people's voices are valuable, and so we're only allowed to pay so much money.
Sure.
Because people feel, I think, in particular, the ethicists in the country have decided that at some point, offering a lot of money is coercive. People can't refuse. Now, that said, that if there are any questions in the interview that make you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to answer it. You know, you can skip that question. That's always part of an ethical study, is to allow people to skip questions that make them feel uncomfortable. But I've done the interview myself. I don't find anything on there that made me feel uncomfortable, but then again, I'm a medical sociologist, so you know I deal with these issues all the time. I don't think there's anything extremely personal on there, but and again, the point of this is not to tell anybody about you. It's really to find out how we can raise the health profile of the state of Indiana from 48th to somewhere much higher. It would be, I think, a benefit to all of us if we can really make this grand challenge of the Precision Health Initiative successful and find cures. You know, one of the things, it's not my bailiwick, not my wheelhouse, but you know, one of the things that the Precision Health Initiative has promised is to cure one pediatric cancer, one adult cancer, and to make significant progress on a number of chronic diseases. And that's really where the Precision Health Initiative comes in. We're more focusing on the things that tend to be chronic. The information that is provided in your saliva, the genetic information, that's really crucial for those two issues. Now, it's not crucial for pediatric cancer because we're not talking to children in this study. We are only talking to adults. But there's another part of the grand challenge that is really focusing on children with cancer. So I know that we're targeting a number of specific diseases, including multiple myeloma, which turns out, which is a blood cancer, that turns out to be high in Indiana. And so, like, why is that? That's what we're trying to figure out. We're also targeting Alzheimer's disease, which of course is something that we're all worried about at this point. And I think it's very important to understand people's mental health, because it's not only something that affects their well-being, but it's something that affects people's physical health. And if they have physical health problems, it affects their mental health. And for too long, we've ignored mental health as a part of well-being. And so that's something that we're interested in. How do people feel? How do they feel physically, but also how do they feel in terms of their well-being? So we're really going to go after that as well.
Wow, I just keep saying wow because I'm like, wow, this is so cool. So if you wanted to find out more information, obviously what Bernice already shared was that you can go there to learn about it, but also possibly be part of the test or the survey takers.
Yes.
Is that the right?
Yeah, an interviewer.
Yeah, an interviewer.
Yeah. Survey taker is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But okay, so maybe there is an answer to this. I guess there might be. When do they expect to have this all done? When is and then, because it seems like it'd be a long process.
It is a long process, but part of that depends on you. If you let us in, if you let us do the interview, we can do it faster. We're finding that it's taking a lot of effort to have people agree. I think getting started, the word isn't out yet, and so people aren't quite sure, like, who are these people, but you'll be able to identify. We always notify the community centers. We notify the police in the area so that, you know, if you see people driving up and down slowly, they'll have a car, but it'll have an IU sign on it. We're now going a little more. We're going to have people with specific vests on so you know who they are. But again, if you don't want to let somebody into your house, call us.
Right.
And we'll just do it. That way you're assured that it's us and not somebody else. And I think that's very important for people right now.
Yeah. Well, we hope, in the perfect world, would be that people see this, maybe share it on their whatever, be able to, their Facebook, or just send it to people in emails and just get the word out, because maybe people are sitting there who've gotten the invitation and they're like, is this for real? Because you did say when we started that people are very concerned about. Worried. They don't want to open the door.
And because you never know what people are selling or what they're doing, and so of course we've made it easy for you to check on who we are. And we think the most important thing in the community is that the community knows what we're up to, and that the community. If you didn't get selected, I'm sorry, but if you're part of the group that did, we hope you will participate, because your voice really is important to improving the health of this state and to improving the health of the nation. It would be such an easy study for us if we just took people who volunteered.
Right.
But we know that certain kinds of people volunteer and other people don't. Right. And if you really want to understand what's happening in our state, you have to talk to the people who are easy to talk to and the people who are a little bit more guarded. We really need their input as well. And so we'll be knocking on your door, and we'll be sending, if we don't hear from you or don't reach you somehow, we will send another letter so that you know, if you're still not sure who this is, you'll get a second letter, and the second letter will explain it again. And we'll have the phone number, and you can call us as well.
I think I'm going to keep my eyes on that website, and because it's very interesting now that I kind of get the whole gist. We want to thank you for spending some time with us, and Bernice, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Yes,
I'm sure that we would love to maybe get together again, find out some of the the results of this when it eventually kind of comes to a point where you can share that information. We'll just let you go today, but definitely check that out one more time. Can you run that website one more time? Just so that everybody can see. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
And as soon as we have information of enough people so that nobody can be identified, we will be posting, we will have newsletters, and we will be posting information on that website. And certainly the people who participate will be getting mailings from us because, again, we believe in giving back.
Well, thank you very much for being here today. And
thank you.
We'll just thank Logan Street Signs and Banners and Nibblesville Trophies for being wonderful sponsors. This has been a half hour of great information, and we thank you very much. Have a great day. And Bernice, I look forward to talking to you again in the hopefully not too long future. So
I hope not.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you.
Have a great day. We'll
Thanks.
see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.